Hey guys, Mushy Donut here, making a content video for the Path of Diablo 2 mod, focusing on my ladder starting character, which was a trap assassin for this ladder season number 7 in Path of Diablo. So, I wanted to focus on a fire trap assassin for farming cows to try and get some of those items that you need for builds that aren't quite so easy to just start off the ladder with. You know, you need to get like some trade fodder built up. You need to get some runes together so that you can, build those rune words that make other builds viable. And I felt like a trap assassin would be a really easy character to start with. That wouldn't really require a lot of gear to farm, and that is especially good at farming hell cows with basically no gear required. So, basically, where I started was I built my trap assassin, worked my way through normal, nightmare, hell, all within the first about 24 hours of the ladder. I played for a few hours the first night. I got to hell difficulty, and some of the realm instability issues and everything made me feel like maybe I should just get a good night's sleep and start solid on Saturday morning. So by the time I got on Saturday morning, there were plenty of groups to be had. It was not really that difficult for me to get into hell difficulty and to get through hell difficulty and get that cleared so that I could start doing my cow runs. I started running hell cows around level 65 to 70, and it was fairly easy to do at that point. So the strategy that I chose to use, rather than just spamming Wake of Fire, which has been how I've done, this type of character in the past, I decided to spec into Death Sentry for the synergy bonus to Wake of Inferno, which on Path of Diablo shoots out as a cone rather than a single line. And because of this, I was focusing more heavily on Wake of Inferno traps and Death Sentry traps. I wasn't really using Wake of Fire very much. So the general strategy is to, kind of corral the cows, lead them up to the traps, and I would drop 3 Wake of Inferno traps and 2 Death Sentries. Those Wake of Inferno traps almost immediately drop the front 2 or 3 cows that are in the herd, and then the Death Sentries will subsequently start popping off corpse explosions. And as more bodies pile up, sometimes a 3rd Death Sentry trap was usable and effective for that. And so I did a couple runs utilizing just Wake of Fire and, Death Sentry every now and then whenever there were enough corpses that I felt like it was worth my time to use the corpse explosion mechanic rather than Wake of Fire mechanic. And it is a different type of run, and the run times are negligible. I would say with Wake of Fire, my run times were around 9 minutes on average, and using Wake of Inferno plus Death Sentry, my runs were about 8 to 8.5 minutes. And that is with essentially no gear. I was running with a +3 to Trap's Claw, a Rhyme Grim Shield, a Lore Bone Helm, Treachery Armor, +3 to Trap's Amulet, and some rings with just various resistances on them, and belt with, I believe it had life and some resistances, and boots that just had some resist. I actually didn't even have faster run walk boots at first. I was relying on burst of speed primarily, and I found Nat's boots later, which was very helpful with the 40% faster run walk. In addition to my burst of speed, it actually made my clear times a bit faster. For gloves, I was just using 20 IS gloves that I shopped from Anya. No other mods on them. I just wanted a little bit of increased attack speed for trap speed. So my gear, as you can see, was very, very basic. Everything's self-found. I found the limb rune for my treachery in a Nightmare Cow game. Everything else is just easy, basic stuff that you will find on the ground as you're leveling up. So nothing that was difficult to obtain. And within the first 24 hours of farming, I had found just a few, better set pieces for leveling melee characters and stuff like that. Eisenharts, Caligula's, and Saigons, and all the basic stuff that you'll start finding when you start running Hell games. Basic set pieces for leveling up new characters. And I also found a low rune, which was my first high rune of the latter season. I found it, I think, around 3 or 4 hours into farming cows. Which, when I say 3 or 4 hours, I don't farm, non-stop, super fast. I take breaks, and I do Twitch streams, so I talk to people in chat. I talk to my friends on Battle.net. It was very casual 3 to 4 hours of farming for my first high rune. Let's see, I also found Nat's boots, some Naj set pieces, a few random low-level uniques, nothing super exciting. I think I found some IK gloves, but a lot of mid runes and a lot of low runes that you need to make those rune words that are useful for leveling. So basically what I wanted out of the character. I was able to easily farm gear that makes other builds easier to level up and play with and try. I found plenty of orbs of corruption that I could trade for random, low end pieces that I needed for, playing other things. Like I'm playing around with a necro and a paladin and a druid and a few other classes now. So it did what I wanted it to do, which was get me a start for the latter season, a basis for farming, and for finding, just some general gear so that I can play with other things. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and if there's anything that you want to add or ask me about, you can post your comment below. I'll have a link to my Patreon below the video, which if you want to donate to the Path of Diablo server and become a patron of Green Dude, he's on my page. So if you go to my page and you look at who I support, you'll see Green Dude there, and you can become a patron for him if you so choose. Which I do suggest because, he donates his time to make the server, and it's a lot of fun to play on. So, check it out. Thank you. Bye.